thank you for inviting me. I'm Bob Eschbach. I've been mayor of the city of Ottawa for the last 16 years. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry I couldn't be here earlier today. My presentation doesn't talk about the canal because I heard Arnie was going to be here. I thought he would be talking about the canal in Ottawa, but I heard he was talking about George Washington and other things. But you've probably heard his or seen his presentation before. As in all maps, Ottawa is in the center, I've discovered. The city of Ottawa is a canal town. It was platted at the same time as Chicago, at opposite ends of the canal. You'll see us. Will this do it on its own? Oh, then I should talk slower.
Get extra time this way.
Okay.
Cheater.
As I said, Ottawa is a canal town. You'll see a picture here of the downtown area at the confluence of the Illinois and Fox Rivers. There we go. And about a quarter of the way down across the top, you can kind of see a line there. That's the canal that passes through town. I want to just mention our efforts lately have been toward economic development, which I'll just touch briefly on a couple of things and then primarily talk about our downtown and our efforts to promote tourism in the area. We have been very aggressive in our economic development. We have a host of economic development incentives like most places do. And we've even developed our own industrial park. When I first became mayor, one of the problems we had when we had potential developers come in is we had no control over the land. We would sit, I remember sitting on the back of a farmer's pickup truck discussing the cost of the land, and if they asked for $20,000 an acre, you offered it, then they wanted $30,000 an acre. We developed an industrial park, all the amenities are there, we've got rail, we've got all the utilities, all of the environmentals have been done, it's ready to build. It's probably one of the most development-ready industrial sites in the state, I think. I have some before and after pictures. I'd love to do these unless they're pictures of myself. But on the corner here, you'll see a typical scene in downtown probably about 10 years ago, a turn-of-the-century building that had kind of a 1960s cheese grater put on it. 3 buildings down, you'll see another beige building where they had just kind of slopped it up. Through our facade development, our facade program and our design guidelines that we've established in Ottawa, all of the development downtown now is pretty much overseen by the city, and we've had tremendous response from our property owners. They appreciate the help, and they like the results. The second thing we've done downtown is we've really started greening the area. We've adopted gardening and the botanical arts as our theme for downtown, or actually for promoting the city in general. And we've adopted a very aggressive streetscape program that we've implemented block by block, pretty much 1 block a year. So you have a very beautiful old building with Stark on the left, and then we sort of soften things up with the landscaping. Last year, or for the last 2 years, we entered into the American in Bloom competition. That's a nationwide competition among cities of similar sizes where you compete. And last year we won the national championship, and we're going to try it again one more time this year. Here's an interesting slide. On the right, you'll see what was kind of a 1960s addition to a beautiful old bank building, but it was a drive-through at one time. It's been bricked in. On the right, you'll see an old stone bank facade in a nearby town that they were getting ready to tear down. We were able to save the facade from the old building and put it where that other drive-through was, and move the stone around a little bit. And then we'll be having murals, trompe-l'oeil murals done up where the entryways were, so you'll be kind of looking into the bank. Actually, it's kind of an interesting story about that bank. It was the only bank that survived in our county during the Depression. And at one time, they piled all the money in the windows with guards so people could see their money there. That's what we're going to represent in one of those windows. Probably the jewel of the downtown is Washington Square, the site of the first Lincoln and Douglas debate. And you can see there's some beautiful bronze statues of the candidates at the time that were installed in Ottawa and veiled in 2002. In a very, very beautiful fountain setting there. I should note too that most of the greenery downtown is maintained by volunteers. This is a really interesting situation. We had a 20-acre school site right on the Illinois River, adjacent to downtown, that had some major flooding issues. In 2008, it flooded. It was closed, and we acquired the land through FEMA funding. FEMA also helped us pay for planning the future, and what we're looking at now and envisioning is a destination. It's about a 20-acre park that would include a harbor, for transient harbor for boaters to come and go, a large amphitheater and festival area where we'd have all of our festivals, and a botanic garden. But right above that site, we have a lot of opportunity for private development too. And we want to encourage kind of multi-use, this is just a concept of multi-use development, where we'd have restaurants and so forth, overlooking the park, overlooking the river, with condos or apartments or some sort of residential units above. This is an example of the murals we have downtown. We have about 8 or 10 depicting various parts of our history. The lowest one is the Canal mural. It's about on a building, probably about a half a block long. They're all pretty sizable. And what do I have next? I just wanted to mention too that our greening efforts are not just downtown, but we received an ITEP grant and planted about 1,000 trees at the entryways to our city. So all on state routes. So as you come in from any direction, you kind of get this sort of feel. And I think you know, we're doing some wonderful things to make the town much more lovely and a desirable place to be. We're also trying to attract people by having events. And we have the Morel Fest, Wine and Jazz Fest, River Fest in the summertime. Morel. I'm for it.
It's good to be moral, though.
I'm for it. And then in October, we have our Scarecrow Fest, our Oktoberfest. We have a great Festival of Lights parade where we light up the park in December or after Thanksgiving, and an Ice Odyssey event, and we're looking at maybe doing maybe a 3-week-long Christmas market on weekends in December. One of the exciting things that's happening in Ottawa, let me say that, go back up, the events are designed to introduce Ottawa to people. For example, at the Jazz and Wine Fest, we do our advertising in the suburbs. Probably 75% of the people that show up are from suburbia. We also want them to show that there's places to live in Ottawa. This is an incredible development, Heritage Harbor. It's a 32-acre harbor that was created with the possibility of over 600 or 700 residential units, 400 boat slips. These are some of the units that have been built to date. Kind of a slowdown during the recession, but the development's picked up again. They have a restaurant, they have a marina, and this fall they're going to begin construction on a 30-room inn, kind of a high-end inn at the harbor. So come visit us, come buy a place at Heritage Harbor. Thank you so much.